I guess part of our incentive from a national security concern and otherwise is that if the US puts its head in the sand, China's going to jump in.
Yeah, I mean, specifically that there's a lot of Uyghurs fighters in Syria right now. There's tens of thousands of them, some reports say. And these fighters are, they at some point, their goal is to liberate their part of China and establish their own emirate in China. I think China at some point is not going to let that happen. They're going to have to interfere somehow in Syria. That will create some competitive ground, or a ground where the United States and China will have to compete for resources. Some government part will be alliance to the United States, some will be to China. I think this is what we should be mindful of and try to avoid by just making sure that we address this terrorism issue, because terrorism is not targeting just the West. It is targeting every nation, South, West, Northeast. So this is another direct, maybe dimension that the U.S. policymakers should be aware of.
And it was like that gentleman at the House Longworth building had said back in September, who had been an ambassador to Trump, right? Do you remember him? He said, I've seen this happen before.
The reason this matters, and particularly right now, is you've got a situation in Syria where you've got a transition. It isn't set up yet completely what it's going to look like long term.
Mr. Brownback.
Yes.
Yes. So Mr. Brownback is a great visionary guy. I think he saw the past and he can read the future. I think he said one thing that kind of stuck in my mind, that he said we should do something before the cement is set. Once the cement is set, the United States is going to go do something else somewhere else, and they're going to leave Syria to figure out its own thing. And by that time, we will turn our back and we wouldn't know exactly the details of the progress of the government on one hand and these fighters.
And right now you can get it set right. You can have a decentralized Syria. You can have a federated system, one country, but several states of it. You can allow the states to arm themselves like what has taken place in Kurdish region, Kurdistan of Iraq, operated very well, very effectively, protects the minority. That can be Syria. Or you're going to get this situation where you're going to have a genocide happen in the future of religious minorities, like we saw in other regions of Iraq, where you saw the Yazidis and the Christians be genocide because they couldn't protect themselves.
Because they have this ideology and this power that they want to act on. If Syria is a peaceful country, they're going to take it somewhere else. So this is something else to look at and make sure that it's also built in the policy making for the United States for the next 10 to 20 years.
Former Ambassador Brownback said that, I believe, in September, 4 months later, in January of 2026, how is that cement or that drying process, that setting in, is that now?
He gave it 2 years. He said, he came up with 2 years. He's a seasoned politician, and I believe that there is a time frame. I don't know whether it's 2 years or not, maybe more, maybe less. In my view, the sooner the better. The sooner you act on it. It doesn't mean necessarily changing regimes or anything like that, but setting the government and the people on the right track. And you can, again, like they did with Nazi Germany. Is it true that all the Nazis were killed in World War II? No, for sure. But they were able to eradicate the ideology by implementing denazification. And fast forward, maybe 20 years later, Germany was one of the economic powers in Europe. So this is where, a country like the United States can help Syria in. And that can be very advantageous to the United States. We have advantages in, cheap labor, and closeness. Syria, labor or products can be shipped through the Mediterranean directly to the Atlantic instead of going through the Suez Canal and through from China and like other Southeast Asia. It's much, much closer. It's just direct from the Middle East, from the Mediterranean directly to the United States. Less time, less distance, less expensive, hopefully an economic hub that can be utilized for the benefit of the United States.
Dr. Azkul, thank you very much. We'll talk again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They are going to do another 9/11 if we're not cautious. Jihadi mentality does not die. We have to eliminate it like we did to the Nazis. I call it de-jihadification, like we did the denazification in 1954. We called for the United States government and all the governments all over the world to be mindful of this risk. We don't want another 9/11. We have to stand together to stop the terrorism.